Miniatures and SWCCG. I'm here with my brother Brett.
Hello.
And we're opening one of each of these. Bounty Hunters pack, one of the cooler sets. I think the first one we ever opened, we got a Garindin, who actually ended up being an okay piece. But we went on a trip out to Tennessee and West Virginia, and we stopped at a bunch of targets along the way. And I want to say we bought 4 packs and got 3 Boba Fett Bounty Hunters, or we bought 3 packs and got 2 Boba Fett Bounty Hunters. But yeah, that was, do you remember any of that?
I do remember getting a bunch of those
Okay.
and how they were just like one of the best pieces to come out at the time.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. It's a frustrating piece because he has disintegration, so he can kill you in one shot. He has to roll a 20, but he has twin attacks. So, yeah, it's there are a lot of tales in gaming stores of people's beastly character getting one-shotted by Boba Fett, and then they lose the game after the first attack, and a lot of tales about that on the Wizards forums, back when Wizards had forums for the minis game. But this is a Reflections pack. I've opened many of these over the years. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes which one's the foil before you get there. Sometimes you can tell from the back. I think actually this is the foil. Here, you tell me, Brett. Does the top of that look shiny?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll put the foil last. So yeah, they kind of have a. I don't know if it'll show up. It doesn't really show up here, but I wonder if it actually even rips off with my finger. Some of them have like a film or a residue on them. It's not like damage to them, and then a lot of them have vertical lines. We'll see if we find the vertical lines. Something to do with when they're put in the package, but foils look a little bit different from the back. And 18 cards, so we'll start with Special Edition. The cool thing about Reflections 1 is that it tends to go backwards in terms of you start with Special Edition, then you see the Jabba's Palace, which is what happens here. And these are fixed cards from the starter deck. So a couple of Jabba's Palace, actually some good Jabba's Palace cards. Wounded Wookiee, Weapon Levitation is still useful today. There's a defensive shield against it, but man, if your opponent initiates battle, forgets to do that, or doesn't want to put out that shield because they want to use other shields, I mean, you can steal Vader's weapon right from him, and then it's sometimes tough for him to get it back, too, because if you steal it, and then it goes to the lost pile, a lot of players rely on getting Vader's lightsaber out of their own lost pile, but they can't get it out of your lost pile. So, here's a rare. Jabba's Space Cruiser's pilot. Do you remember the Space Cruiser capturing you in Dark Forces?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's got like the spines on the side.
Right,
Yeah.
and you fight the Kill Dragon with your bare hands.
Right, yeah. You just punch a giant dragon in the face. But yeah, this guy's the pilot of it, so... So back was an interesting... Okay, Bespin, I think the systems look cool. I don't know what you think about that one, Brett.
Oh, yeah.
They do a good job with it.
I didn't know it had that many moons, to be honest.
Oh. Yeah, that's a good point. Imperial Barrier, Talon Roll, so now we're into the Premier. That's kind of a fun card, so it's risky. If you're way overpowered in the battle, draw 3 cards, deploy them for 3 if they're characters, vehicles, devices, or weapons, and any others are lost. And there are some ways to game this, but like you can put cards on your reserve deck with certain cards, but the problem is there's a defensive shield for that makes it so you have to use 2 force to deploy a card for free. But it would be kind of fun if your opponent is trying to overpower you, and then you just flip the top 3 cards, and it's Maul and Sidious and Vader, and you just smack them with all 3. That might be a funny thing to do in a GEMP game online, or GEMP. Walker Sighting. Kind of an interesting card. If opponent just moved or deployed an AT-AT, search your reserve deck for up to 3 exterior sites and immediately deploy them. So, like, they think they're going to blow up the generator on Hoth, because I don't know if you remember on Hoth, Brett, probably haven't played too much Hoth. There's like a marker system, so the first marker is the shield generator, the 7th marker is the Wampa Caves, there's 5 markers in between.
I do remember a little bit about that.
So yeah, then maybe they deploy, well, I guess if you're the light side, you could do up to 3 exterior sites. So yeah, they deploy at the 4th marker. They think, oh, okay, I'm going to blow up the shield generator next turn. Then you play this card, and bam, 2 sites come out, the 2nd and 3rd marker.
So that seems like the kind of thing that would only be useful if you're playing certain like theme decks?
Well, that's the thing with Star Wars CCG is that there's a lot of cards that were like, wow, I would never use this. Like 98% of the time, I would never use this. But maybe when Hoth first, and a lot of them are like, because there's so many cards in a set, like 180 in Hoth. I mean, it's like, okay, this card isn't really any useful, and it doesn't have any use to it, but it's kind of cool in terms of mechanics. I think there were a lot of cards like that.
Sure.
Somebody had a good idea. We have 180 card slots to fill. Let's just put it. So I already saw that our card was in effect. It's not a good sign usually. Oh, well, this is at least the... What is it? Is it in Family Guy where Peter Griffin says, "Oh, that's the name of the movie," a bunch of times?
I'm not sure.
Okay, but this is Reflection in this Reflection set. So, they had to, as soon as they came out with Reflections, they had to. Maybe they already had that designed anyways. It is a cool looking foil card. At least the angle I was at, but I'm going to change the light so everyone can see it. All right, so yeah, I mean, foil cards do look nice, and this has actually been virtualized into the Resistance Leia because, you know, it's kind of far away, so it was a good portrait to use for her. But definitely a cool looking card. But not a great pack. We got, I would say, just above bottom tier foil, and then a Jabba's Palace rare. So hopefully the Bounty Hunters pack bails us out. One of the cool things about the huge packs in minis is that you can, well, if you saw our last video, we got 2 rares because of a manufacturing error. But in this one, you can get 2 rares if you, just because the huge piece, the 3x3 on the board, it's independent from the other cards in the pack, the other minis in the pack. All right, so we'll do the huge second to last. Well, I'll let Brett pick. Do we do the rare last, or we do the...
I think we can do the huge second to last.
Okay.
That's about what I had in mind.
All right. Unless the rare is total garbage and the huge is better.
Sure.
All right, these guys, this is actually one of the best uncommons to get. A Dark Hellion Marauder on Swoop Bike. So, kind of a bulky piece. And not super valuable, but it's they're in like a gang, so if they're within, for each Dark Hellion within 6 squares, they get extra attack. And it's a cool looking piece for sure. We got a Tusken Sniper, another good uncommon to get. One of my favorite pieces from the set that's not a rare. Okay, well that's weird. We get 3 uncommons in a pack, which I didn't know that's how that worked. But this is our 3rd uncommon. It's a Mandalorian Blade Master. Okay, here's a common, a Weequay Thug. Oh, in our other pack we got a Weequay Mercenary, so...
It's a good day for Mandalorians.
And that's a Mandalorian Soldier, so... Karen Travis would be proud. Is that the right person?
Oh, yeah, for the...
Okay, so we already had our 5 minis. We've got our huge...
Packaging is a little odd in the miniature itself.
Well, I think if I got the scissors, if I
Yeah.
cut that tape there, I'll do it off screen as far as I can. All right.
It seems like a especially fragile huge.
Ooh. Was cutting towards Brett. Good thing I didn't stab him. All right, so this is the Utapon on Dactylian. Kind of a cool piece. The not the most inspired looking piece. It earned the nickname. Brett, do you remember its nickname?
I do not.
Oh, the Goof Bird is what a lot of people called this back in the day. But yeah, it's a rare, huge. So that's a win. There's a lot of uncommons to get.
And this is a very good one.
Oh, wow. IG-88 Bounty Hunter. So we got a very rare. Yeah, this is a very good card piece. I always say card because I open a lot of card packs. But yeah, he's pretty fragile, but he does a ton of damage. So definitely an interesting piece and a cool looking one too. But let's take a look at the cards. So we got a rare huge and a very rare Bounty Hunter. So it's not a Boba Fett or a Jango Fett, but it's up there in terms of fringe pieces to get. Probably Boba Fett, Jango Fett, and Mandalore the Indomitable are the best ones to get there. So yeah, he's got that gang ability I mentioned. Oh, mobile attack too. Only 10 damage, but he only costs 10. and got a lot of speed. There's the Goofbird, another guy with flight mobile attack. 30 damage he does, though.
Speed 10 is pretty neat, too.
Yeah.
Don't see that often.
Right. So, I mean, there's you can exchange characters in terms of, like, there's pieces like Thrawn where you can, move a piece in, and then Thrawn allows him to switch places. So I'm trying to think of oh, well, that's interesting. The Rancor is Savage, but if you put a character with empathy next to it, it loses Savage. So you can fly this thing in and then have Thrawn, I think, plop the Rancor in there. The problem is, once you plop the Rancor in there, you can't get the Rancor out because the Rancor has Savage and it's not subject to commander effects. But it would at least be funny.
You could use some of the Dathomir ones, right? Like, do they have Savage? The
Felucians.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a Felucian on Rancor. Yeah, you could do that. They have triple attack, and those ones are a little bit better anyways, but the regular Rancor only costs 33, and the other one is like 58 or something.
Oh, wow.
But
Yeah.
triple attack, and yeah, that would be kind of fun just to have a Rancor. That makes me think of in Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, where Gimli just jumps off the ledge right into the battle to save Aragorn after they blow. Yeah. Just imagine a Rancor doing that. Okay, so let's take a look at. I mean, this was a lot of abilities for back in this day. This was the 6th set. Bounty Hunter +6, Opportunist. So yeah, you're attacking. Luke Skywalker, for example. You got +19 attack, double attack, 30 damage. Some characters that'll kill them in one volley. Sonic Stunner's pretty good too. Living target, each living character adjacent to that target are activated. So he's pretty expensive, but he is fringe. And then General Grievous Droid Army Commander. Brett, do you remember what General Grievous Droid Army Commander does? He has three effects.
Yeah, +4 damage, +4 defense, and twin attack, right?
+4 attack and defense.
Isn't that what I said?
Oh, I think he said damage, but
okay,
yeah, and then twin attack. So yeah, then you're doing so against Luke. Well, it doesn't always have to be Luke, but like he's the main light side guy. But okay, so you have +21 attack, 30 damage, twin attack, and double attack. So you're probably not gonna miss. And then these characters only have so many lightsaber reflex or deflex they can do. But yeah, and
I gotta say the 80 hit points and 19 defense is not inspiring confidence.
Right, yeah, and he's a droid, so he's not subject to commander effects most of the time. I mean, so yeah, it's one of those ones where like Han with accurate shot and mobile attack would actually be really annoying. But depending on what Opportunist is still pretty good and doesn't need Bounty Hunter for that. But Bounty Hunter +6. It's one of those things where he pays more in his cost for Bounty Hunter +6, but it's like you almost would rather have a lower point cost with a lower Bounty Hunter just because of, well, I mean, you're not necessarily always going to have Opportunist, but that's one of those things where it's like, okay, I see why they have that ability. It's kind of cool thematically why they have that ability, but it's sometimes an ability you'll never use, or you won't use it as much as it's worth. So
Sure.
That's kind of a bummer sometimes. But yeah, still a very rare piece. One of the best ones to get. Definitely top 10 at the very least in the set. So good pack, Brett. And yeah, that's another combo of minis and CCG. Thanks for watching. I hope you tune in for future videos. I think Brett and I do a few more of these before I head back to Nebraska from the holidays. Thanks for watching.